I cut out a lot of the videotaping just because it takes forever. I mean, seriously, it takes me quite a while to make a key for one of these things because, of course, I'm using depth keys, the old school style. And basically, if any of you are not locksmiths, it basically means I stick the key in the lock. That is cut to a 4 depth right there. Yes, it is. That's cut to a 4 depth, and then I look at the pin. If the pin's too high, too low. If it's too low, I switch over to, the 3. If it's too high, I switch over to, if it's too high, I switch over to the 4. I wait till that little pin sits right inside that lock. See, little itty-bitty pins in there. And then basically I cut, and then this is a double-sided key, so after I make that cut on my real key, I flip it over, cut again. By the time I'm done, I get a whole jigsaw puzzle. Maybe another locksmith out there can answer this one for me, but the factory keys just never seem to go in the lock right unless I file them down and polish them a little bit. And it's not the end of the world doing that. It's kind of a tedious thing. Anyway, we got one perfect key for the trunk lock right here. And just for kicks, we tried it out in the door. The door is working fine, and the trunk as well. So I might be off on this one, but let me put this down for a second. But that missing cut might not show up, either that or it's just a 1 or a 2 or something that's just so close that it just turns anyway. You notice we got perfectly flush little pins. I'm going to pull the key back. You see them pop up just a little bit there. Anyway, we're good to go. We're going to assemble this trunk back together. I've already programmed it. There's really nothing interesting about programming it. You hit the buttons on the machine, turn the key, blah, blah, blah. Hondas are very easy. The only thing that kind of stinks about Hondas is that when you program a new key, you have to have all keys present because you're kicking out all the keys. So you got to be able to go, okay, here's the new key, here's the old key that I want to still work, here's another old key that I want to work. So now I have, instead of 2 old keys, I have 3 keys grand total. So basically you got to have all keys present. Something I explain to customers, but this gentleman has lost all the keys to the car, and quite frankly we're doing him a favor by making sure the lost keys will not work in this lock. So a little bit of oil on here, put the trunk lock back together again, very simple little parts. Put it back together. Once again, always go for the trunk lock. So easy to work with. Pulling doors is something I cannot stand doing. There's some guys out there that have leashy tools and use codes and whatnot. That totally works. Something like this, even if I had a code, I would not use it just because these locks are so finicky and I'm using depth keys. If I had a code, obviously I'd just punch it into the machine. But I'm old school. I just got a duplicator and depth keys. Cannot put emphasis on that enough. But maybe one of these days I'll upgrade to it. But in the meantime, it's good to stay sharp, doing things the hard way, so that you know what to do if a code doesn't work. Because not all the times do the codes work. Anyway, we're all set to go. We're going to put it back together again in one final victory video.